To build muscle, we need to lift weights. We need to challenge our muscles. Walking, running, that's not building muscle. You have to lift something heavy. You need to challenge those muscles. When you challenge the muscles, you create tension, you create stress. And what happens is you create micro tears in the muscle fibres. And then they're forced to rebuild themselves to become stronger because they know you're going to put that tension on them again and they need to be able to handle it, so the muscle fibres are stronger. Now, you cannot just go to the gym when you feel like it and expect to build muscle. You know, going to the gym once a week, twice a week, not having a plan, having no structure, no, you're not going to build any muscle by doing that. Like with anything in life, when we want to have a result, you need a roadmap, you need structure. So when you want to build muscle, if you really want to get yourself into that mindset and be on that road, you need structure. And that means knowing how many times you're going to go to the gym and what you're going to do when you go to the gym. In the bodybuilding world, we call it a training split. A training split is the amount of times you're going to go to the gym. So for example, Mukhtar, you're going to the gym 3 times a week? Four times a week, okay? Say for example, Camilla's got a new baby, she can only go to the gym 2 times a week. They will have to do different things because you still need to put that tension on the right muscle groups evenly to get the growth. So if you're going to the gym 4 times a week, you can do 2 upper sessions, 2 lower sessions. That way we've got an even split. The muscles are being stressed the same amount and you need the consistency to show up 4 times a week. So be realistic with yourself. Don't say I'm going to go 5 times a week and it only ever happens once. Be very realistic. Camilla goes to the gym 2 times a week. Sorry, you might go more, but I'm just using as an example. But she'll do 2 full body sessions because that will mean all the muscles get worked twice a week. So we need to make sure there's an appropriate amount of training volume. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of the concept progressive overload. Nothing happens in our comfort zone. In life, nothing really happens in our comfort zone. In the gym, nothing will happen in your comfort zone either. So once you have established the structure, which is the amount of times you're going to the gym, along with what you are doing in the gym, what sessions you're going to do, what body parts you're going to work, you then need to work with the concept of progressive overload. Progressive overload is ensuring that you're constantly challenging your muscles. If you are lifting the same weights as you were 3 months ago, the chances are you're not challenging yourself and there's not going to be any growth. So you need to challenge yourself by either logging your weights and ensuring over a period of time the numbers are getting higher, or increase your repetitions, because this will ensure that your muscles are constantly challenged and you are growing. And this leads me on to the next thing, nutrition. This is a big one, and actually I'll put my presentation, you guys have the booklet in front of you, so there is a part on nutrition. Nutrition has such a key role for us when it comes to building muscle. And I don't think enough of us know how to program our nutrition around our gym sessions. Before we get into nutrition and building muscle, let's talk about nutrition. So there are 3 main nutrients when it comes to nutrition. Does anyone know what those 3 main nutrients are? Louisa?
Protein, carbohydrates, fat.
Yes. And we always hear so much about protein. Eat protein, eat protein. But let me tell you, carbohydrates and fats are just as important. But we need to know what to eat when. So each macronutrient, each main nutrient has its own role. Protein are our building blocks for muscle. They contain smaller molecules called amino acids. And you know, I was talking about those micro tears. Well, it's the amino acids that help rebuild them. So we get stronger muscles from protein serving the muscle with those amino acids. And there needs to be availability. How can your body repair itself if there is no availability of amino acids? You are essentially just breaking down the muscle and not repairing it. So this is why protein is really important. Where can you get protein from? Can anyone help me out with that?
Meat, fish, eggs.
Yes, all of those things. Then we've got carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are our primary energy source, and they need to be programmed in with the protein because they give us the energy to go and train. Now, if you go into the gym and you haven't eaten since the night before, the chances are you're not really going to give maximum efforts to your training session because you'll deplete your energy stores quite quickly. So you need to pair the carbohydrate with the protein. But guess what else the carbohydrate does? It delivers the protein to the muscle. So you need to make sure you've got the carbohydrate and the protein at least 1 hour. It needs to be digested and available in your body before you go and train. Then we have fats. Fats are great. As women, we really need fats. Fats produce our hormones. We need good, healthy fats. Can anyone name me any good, healthy fats?
Butter, ghee, olive oil, coconut oil.
All of those things.
Also meat has
Absolutely. So yes, you need to have fats. For my clients, I don't necessarily always program fats in the pre-workout, which is the meal you have before training, but I do put them in after because they're great for recovery. And also fats produce hormones, so we need them for our estrogen because what does estrogen do? It helps us build muscle. So for the meal that you have after your strength training, you need to have all 3 macronutrients because they are so important.